Yo, what's good, kings and queens? It's your boy Don, and I'm back for another reaction video today. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and hit all so you know every time I post, you heard. If you're not new to the channel, you already know what to do. Go down below, hit that like button, listen out for that keyword. If you get pinned, you win, you heard. Other than that, as y'all can see by the title and thumbnail, we're going to be reacting to 10 magic tricks that went horribly wrong. I'm not no magician. I always wanted to be a magician growing up, you heard. That was like my first Christmas gift I wanted. But if y'all want to be magicians and y'all think y'all can do these stunts and maybe even do them right, you heard, let me know down in the comments. Teach me something. I want to learn something. Teach me a trick, you heard. Other than that, let's get into the video. Let's see these horrible magic tricks.
10 magic tricks that went horribly wrong.
Yeah, yo, son is wild.
Number
dramatic,
10.
Yo.
Human pin cushion. Famous for her outlandish outfits, Japanese magician Mariko Itakura performed under the stage name Princess Tenko. During her 2007 performance, Tenko was placed inside a box, into which 10 real metal swords were to be inserted. The plan was for Tenko to escape the box without the audience realizing, so it would be empty when the weapons were forced into it. Disastrously, Tenko wasn't able to do this in time. The swords broke several of her ribs and wounded her cheek, and she escaped being stabbed in the eye by a mere centimeter. Number 9. Audience participation. In the early 20th century, the now classic magic trick of sawing a woman in half was relatively
in the last video.
This is why in 1936, a Quebec audience was outraged by stage magician Georges Lalonde when he announced that he was going to cut his assistant in two. An appalled audience member called Henry Howard leapt into the stage in response. Thinking he was rescuing the assistant from a real-life bisection, he grabbed one of Lalonde's prop swords and stabbed the magician in the back.
What?
Lalonde was rushed to hospital with a collapsed lung, but he made a fortunate recovery.
What type of time
Number
are y'all
8.
on?
Like a moth to a flame. In June 1900, Swedish conjurer Balabrega was performing in a successful magic show in Brazil. One of his tricks was an elaborate deception involving 6 assistants dressed as moths, who would seem to miraculously disappear when consumed by flames. For the flames, the trick required a controlled supply of gas. However, one theatre Balabrega performed at could only access acetylene gas. Acetylene is highly flammable and unpredictable, and during the early stages of the performance, the gas ignited in a ferocious explosion that engulfed Balabrega and one of his assistants, killing them both.
No!
Number 7. Life in the Fast Lane. Charles Rowan, also known as Car the Mysterious, was a South African escape artist. In 1930, he attempted an unbelievably dangerous stunt, which saw him restrained in a straitjacket and left in the path of an oncoming car. The car started 180 meters away and accelerated to 72 kilometers per hour, giving Carr only 10 to 15 seconds to escape the jacket and move out of the way. Predictably, this was not enough time, and Carr was struck by the vehicle and killed instantly.
That he was.
Number 6. Open wide. In 1938, Australian dentist turned amateur magician Dr. Vivian Hensley was demonstrating a trick to his family that involved pretending to eat razor blades while actually dropping them down the sleeve of his coat. However, he slipped up and accidentally dropped a blade down his throat, causing severe internal bleeding. Despite 2 bouts of surgery, doctors were unable to remove the razor, and Hensley died in hospital 4 days later.
Dang, boy!
Number 5. Underwater grave. The water barrel escape trick involves a magician trying to escape a large container filled with water. Popularized by Harry Houdini, the trick is notoriously deadly. In 1930, the trick cost the life of famous magician Royden Joseph Gilbert Raison de la Genesta. Catchy. During transportation, the barrel that Genesta was going to use was dented without anybody realizing. This limited the space that the escapologist had to maneuver inside the container, ultimately preventing him from being able to make the necessary movements for escape. Realizing during the attempt that something was wrong, Genesta's assistants tried to open the barrel. Tragically, they were unable to find the right keys for the locks, and the magician drowned.
No.
Number 4. Rehearsal disaster. One day in July 1984, 23-year-old magician Jeff Rayburn Hopper was practicing a difficult escape trick that he was due to perform later that afternoon. For the trick, he had to be tied up in shackles and submerged in Winona Lake, Indiana. Sadly, Hopper had not checked the weather forecast. His morning rehearsal was met with vicious winds, which generated thrashing waves. Barely able to escape the shackles that bound him, Hopper did manage to struggle to the surface and call for help. However, the ferocious wind washed him further away from the shore, meaning rescuers were unable to reach him. His body wasn't retrieved until 4.5 hours later.
Boy was gone.
Number 3. Seeing Double. The German performer Sigmund Neuberger, better known as the Great Lafayette, was the world's highest paid magician at the beginning of the 20th century.
Crazy.
During an Edinburgh performance of his signature Lion's Bride illusion, in which he appeared to transform into a real-life lion, catastrophe occurred. A stage lamp set fire to the elaborate set, and it spread rapidly. Lafayette and 10 of his co-performers were killed, trapped by the raging fire as the theatre burned to the ground. 2 almost identical bodies were discovered in the wreckage, both of which were identified as the magician. The confusion was later cleared up when it transpired that one had been the illusionist's body double. Number 2.
Crazy.
How Not to Catch a Bullet. American magician William Ellsworth Robinson adopted the persona of Chinese magician Chung-Ling Soo. Robinson never broke character, always speaking in Chinese on stage and even using an interpreter in interviews. In March 1918, as part of his performance, he attempted to catch a speeding bullet.
What?
However, the gun used in Robinson's stunt had not been cleaned out properly, meaning it still contained gunpowder residue. This was enough to launch a bullet out of the weapon and into the magician's chest. Tragically, before he died, Robinson broke character for the first time in his career, calling for help in English.
Yo, where's the actual
Number
video?
1. Buried alive. Being voluntarily buried alive is one of the most dangerous tricks a magician can attempt. So great is the risk of suffocation that most performers construct an escape route and do not actually remain underground for the time that they claim to. Unfortunately, 24-year-old Sri Lankan magician Janaka Basnayaka did not realize this. Hoping to set a world record for the longest time buried alive, in 2012 Basnayaka was buried in a pit 3 meters deep. After 7.5 hours in the pit, Basnayaka was dug up and found not breathing due to a lack of oxygen. He was taken to a hospital where he was later pronounced dead.
Dang.
If you found this video interesting and you
Nah,
enjoyed
that's
magic,
crazy, you heard. If y'all enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments what was your favorite part. Let me know if I should react to something similar or different than this. Y'all already know I got y'all, you heard. Yeah, moral of the story is, magic can be real. It's not always fake. So, be prepared for the worst, you heard. Just shot a video before this, about to go shoot another one right now. I'm going to see y'all there, you heard. Peace. Love. Dawn. Go ahead and hit the like.